era was marked by a lot of immigrant labor. It was marked by a period where child labor and women in the workforce were coming into labor and being exploited. We fast forward to today, and I should say that those people, those struggles were elevated, and those people won improved working conditions through that era. And so we fast forward today, and we're brought to a fight like this, and fights all across the country in the Fight for 15, where immigrant labor is being once again lifted up. And again, like they said in the film, by lifting up the lowest workers, all workers are brought up. Like that's the bottom line. So I want to encourage people, get involved. When you leave here today, it doesn't just end with this film. Hopefully you're able to talk to friends and family and explain to them, help educate them, and share the importance of these struggles, and get involved with CCI is working on a Fight for 15 campaign. We're doing Fast Food Fridays on the 2nd and 4th Friday of every month, and we hope to see some of you folks there, or maybe some friends of yours there. So hopefully you can get involved in some of those fights and share them with other folks and bring them in so that we can help build sort of a movement like they talked about in this film. And with that, I'll turn it over to Maddie and Emily for some discussion about the film. Thank you all for coming.
So before we get into discussion about next steps and what you can do to get involved, I want to hear a little bit about your reactions to the film. Traditionally we'll say like a feeling word, and then kind of talk about who we identified with. What did we love about the film? What moved us? For me, my feeling word would be motivated. I'm an organizer, and I know that this situation with these fast food workers is not just unique to New York City. It's happening on our doorsteps. It's happening in Des Moines here. And there's lots of things that we can be doing. So I'm very motivated by this film to really push the campaigns and lift up the stories of workers. And so I'd like to turn over to all of you. If you have anything to share, we have time for a few reactions or opinions, whatever you'd like to share. Yep.
My word is union. I'm a unionist, and that first contract of theirs was very, very good. Just by having the union hire, I mean, that's unheard of.
Yeah.
But that's perfect if you want everybody to be in the union.
Other reactions? Anyone else? How'd you feel? What'd you love?
My word would be encouraged, and I think I was most struck by the other organizations coming together to support at sort of that hour in need where things seem to be falling apart and things are coming off. Solidarity. That would probably should have been the word.
You could have more than one.
Uplifting, I've been in a room with a group of workers when they lost their union life, and it was the worst feeling of my career. The only time I've ever been in a losing election, and it sucked, and to see those workers go through what they did, they took control of that, and it's just really uplifting to see that. As an organizer myself, that's the dream kind of people you define, the people that are fed up with the way things are and that are ready to stand up and do something. It's really uplifting to see. So.
Other reactions? All right, so Emily and I are going to go into a little bit about what's been going on in the local area and how you guys can get involved. Emily and I both are organizers for a group called Iowa Citizens for Community Improvement. Maybe you've heard of them. They are a statewide grassroots organization, and we focus on putting people first, putting people before profits, and we have many projects, but what we've really been working on is our Fight for 15 campaign. The worker justice organizers have been really focused on that. And not just $15 an hour, but also better working conditions. That's part of it too. And so we've been doing a lot of stuff. We launched that this April, on April 15th, 2015, after we did a minimum wage canvass during the midterm elections, where we weren't talking about people. We were talking about minimum wage during those elections and seeing what people were thinking and, do you support this? Is this something that you want to do? And we knocked on thousands of doors over the course of months, and then we launched this campaign. Since then, every week, we've been going to fast food restaurants in the local area, doing what we call palm carding, which Bridget is over there at the 5 for 15 table. She has some of those. We've been going through the drive-thru and giving people palm cards with our Fight for 15 IA.org information and how they can get involved and just talking to workers. And really, you have a lot of power when you're at the drive-thru at the window because you're in the car and you don't have to move. And they want to talk about it. So it's been really exciting. We've been doing that for about 2 months now. And we've had amazing conversations. We've had one-on-ones with workers at local fast food restaurants, hearing about what's going on in those workplaces and building those relationships to get this momentum going. We've also been doing mini demonstrations, our Fast Food Fridays, every other Friday outside of local McDonald's franchise. We had some workers from this franchise come to us talking about what's going on in their workplace, and so for that reason, that's why we've been targeting this particular McDonald's. But it's not limited to that. And so we definitely hope that you guys can be a part of that stuff, and Emily's going to talk about how you can get involved.
Yeah, so one of the first ways you can get involved is by signing our Fight for 15 petition over there on the table. So like Maddie said, we launched this campaign in April, and it's actually a national movement. So we are sort of plugging in to what's happening nationally. Most recently today, the mayor of St. Louis said that he would push for $15 an hour in St. Louis.
Sweet.
Yeah, so things are happening. Last week, Los Angeles, exactly. So definitely there is momentum across the country, and we are going to make it happen here in Iowa. So the first step is signing the petition over there. We'll keep you in tune with what's going on, with what we're doing. If for no other reason, some people are not very enthusiastic about getting involved in a really direct way, but it keeps you up to date to what we're doing. And also keeps you in communication with us if you do want to get involved in other ways, one of which is sharing the Fight for 15 IA.org online. So that's our website. Those are on the palm cards as well as the petitions over there, so you can go and take a look and make sure you visit our website. We also, like Maddie said, we have palm cards. So if you go to McDonald's or if you go to Burger King or if you go to any fast food restaurants like that, take
Any
some.
restaurant.
Yeah, really
Anywhere.
Yeah, take some, and then you can just have conversations with people. If you go through the drive-thru, we order like a small Coke and then go through and exactly, sometimes French fries, and then just talk to people at the drive-in window. And people are amazingly receptive. Like they are in tune to what's happening around the country. They know what's going on, and they're just looking for a way to get involved. And so all we have to do is present them with that opportunity. So there's palm cards over there on the table. Make sure you pick some of those up if that's something you're interested in. And then the last way you can get involved that we're working on right now is what Maddie said earlier, our Fast Food Fridays. They're the second and fourth Friday of every month. And these are sort of visibility actions. So we want people to start seeing the Fight for 15 logo in Des Moines and affiliating it with, this is happening, this is going on. It's been happening nationally, and now we're bringing it to Des Moines. So we have a group of awesome people. They're so much fun, right, Brenda? You love. Yeah, they're a lot of fun. So we do second and fourth Friday. It's just over the lunch hour, so we meet at the CCI offices at 11 a.m. And
Can I just say something, Emily?
Yeah, say something.
It's
Go
one of
for
the
it.
funnest things CCI does, because when you say honk for 15, people honk one after another.
Or they honk all the way through the intersection.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And so we usually just do this really quickly over the lunch hour. So people show up to the CCI office around 11 a.m. We do a quick where we're headed that day. We pile into cars and are out on the streets for about 45 minutes. We're back at the office by 12:30 to debrief really quickly and send people on their way. So if you've got a quick 11 to 1, 11 to 12:30 time period in there where you're free and can skip out or whatever you've got going on, we would love to have you there. So either way, make sure you sign the petition, because we want to make sure we stay in touch with you all. And thank you so much for coming out. I hope everyone enjoyed it. We're so glad that Ross was able to kickstart this and that we had such a captive audience. So thank you so much. forgot, Hector has an announcement to make. Hold up! There's one more event happening tomorrow that Hector's going to talk. Hang on.
Hey everyone, if I could have your attention please. If I could have your attention please. Thank you. So, hi everyone, my name is Hector Salamanca Arroyo. I work at American Friends Service Committee as the Grassroots Engagement Coordinator for the Governing Under the Influence campaign. But I am not here as, I'm not wearing that hat right now. I am here today as a dreamer advocate. I am a dreamer. And thank you. And I would like to extend an invitation for all of you to attend an event tomorrow at 5:30.
I will bring you that
back in the
live
summertime.
tomorrow.
If you recall, we
That
had
is 5:30
Freedom
Central.
Summit here in Des Moines, and we had a presence of dreamers there. Sadly, 2 of our dreamers were arrested at the event for trespassing, and one of them is here with me today, Cesar Vargas. If you could speak a little bit about that.
Well, thank you all so much. I'm actually from New York, and we definitely saw a lot of the movement happen. And I think one of the things we mentioned about one word that we have, for me, is inspiring, because I think you mentioned before, sir, that for you it was a big defeat not winning that vote. But I can tell you that at least for me, those people reminded me of my parents, because every day that's a heroic. So that's already a victory in itself. Because if it wasn't for the labor and for the hard work that many of these parents do, I wouldn't be here. Because of my mother, who brought me here when I was 5 years old, I was able to graduate college and graduate law school. And I'm still fighting to be admitted to New York Bar. But that makes my mom proud. And that is a victory in itself. But because of that courage, I learned that courage should be taken not just in law school, but in the community, in the streets, and to remind our politicians that we will not back down. So last January, we attended the Iowa Freedom Summit. And as you all probably know, Congressman Steve King invited all presidential candidates, including Donald Trump, Sarah Palin, and as you can imagine, we stayed from 8 a.m. to like 5:30 p.m. listening to all of them.
And you survived that.
Barely, we barely survived. But when they started talking about immigration and how they sought to criminalize immigration, we refused to back down, and we stood up and we challenged them to remind them that the community here in Iowa and across the country will challenge them. And we stood up, and it was a bunch, like 20 dreamers of us and our allies, standing with signs saying deportable. If you truly want to deport us, here we are. We're not afraid. And I think that's a message that we wanted to bring him. So we were escorted out, but his staff and Citizens United demanded that we got arrested. Even though we didn't sneak into the event, even though we fully complied with the event, they told the people that we needed to get arrested. And the county prosecutor offered us a plea to say, listen, just here's a deal, here's $60, pay this, and you'll have a misdemeanor. But we refuse to back down, because we're not going to accept that plea, because we're going to fight this in court. Because we have a right to a trial, and we're going to make our voices heard. And we need the support of Iowa here tomorrow at 5:30 at the Polk County Courthouse to remind Steve King and all his crew that Iowa, this is the real Iowa, not Steve King. So we hope we can see you all tomorrow. Thank you. So tomorrow at Polk County Courthouse, we have trial that we're going to go through, but after the trial, we're going to hear whether we are found guilty or not guilty, hopefully not guilty. We're going to be there, but the community, regardless of the outcome, we want to show that Iowa is there with us. And we want to make sure that we have a strong presence, and you are more than welcome to join us and support us.
One logistical clarification. We are going to need to stay on the sidewalk, so if you do attend, please stay on the sidewalk. We are not prepared for anyone to get arrested, and we don't have the resources to bail someone out. So just forewarning, please stay on the sidewalk. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
I think that's actually going to do it for this. I thought this would last a little bit longer, but I will bring you that event live again tomorrow morning, or no, tomorrow afternoon, 5:30 Central Time, 6:30 Eastern. support solidarity for 2 dreamers who got arrested at the so-called Freedom Summit. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the streams.